Alright, I was gonna wait a little while to show you guys all of this.
Well, I don't have a motor and things might break.
But it's not all done yet. So be a little buggy, but I will show you guys so far. Got these cool little lights right here. LED lights, little reading LED lights. There's one on the other side over there. Yeah. And this is where the touchscreen's gonna go. That one blew up on me, so I need to get another one. And then we got this little guy right here. Shows us the outside temp, the inside temp, time. It's also an alarm clock. Pretty cool. Got a little 12-volt plug. This isn't on there all the way, so it's a little neat. Got this cool little opening here. And a little dirty in there because of all the work in this camper. And some remnants of some cleaning. Rack. But you can kind of see how it's going together. The black plug right there is for power that comes in from outside. And that actually goes up the wall and into here. This nice little cupboard here. Don't mind the wires. They're for the fan and the air conditioner that'll go in there at one point. Then we got the little power center in here, and this isn't all done either. The one that says AC there, that's the one that is poking out. It's not plugged in. There'll be another relay or another box in there. Another panel. And of course we've been barbecuing, so I just threw in the paper plates in here. So this little guy right here, the hood, used to be like green. And so we had to rip it apart, and it probably had like an inch of oil on it. It was ridiculous. Underneath, I actually, probably can't see it very well, but I removed the lights that were in there. They should be right there. The reason I did that is because I'm going to put some LEDs in there for in this stuff. So this brings us to this old lantern. This is a very old Coleman Lantern that I restored that came in the camper. This thing is ancient little guy. And I got it working. It does work. It is a little scary because there's a metal piece up here. This metal piece is the only heat shield between this and the wood. This wood was already placed in here. As you can see, not all of it's done yet, as far as all of the molding goes, but it's getting there. There is a bunk that goes above this part, the back part. Got LEDs all the way through. This backlight switch right here, when you're on the bunk, you'll be able to use it to turn the light off on and be able to see there, kind of like these reading lights. So at night, if you need light, you can flip them on. We got 4 speakers in here. Chris actually helped me install these in here. If you're wondering why these lights still have the little plastic covers on them, it's because of all the dirt. So I just left them on. This is the closet. The closet, actually, if you can see the color change in there, that's from the mirrors that were on there originally. There are going to be mirrors that go back on there, probably the original ones, since they're still in good shape. And all of the hardware in here was redone as well. The closet's pretty big. There's lots of junk in here, and you can see the computer in there and where the LCD screen goes. When this is all done, it'll be packed away kind of nice. There's a bar that actually goes across right here, across to the other side. When you open up this door, the light will turn on, And you get to see some of the relay stuff and the light switches that were put in. That relay right there is going to actually be removed and put in for my sprinkling system, because I got a nicer one. This cord right here should all be hidden by the time we're done. And we'll have the closet in there and plenty of space. We put some of the tools and stuff in here. That brings us to this bad boy right here. This is the original heater. I pulled that thing out of there and restored it. And it didn't have a little handle on it, so I went ahead and put this little handle on it. And the other thing it didn't have is a clicker. So I put a clicker on it, so that you can light the stove. This thing is a mean man pajama. It'll burn your face off when it's on. I don't dare turn it up all the way because it just gets way too hot in here. There's a couple of drawers here, and also there's a nice little nook down here that you can get to the wheel well down there with and put other stuff in there if necessary. Some of the hardware is broken. The thing was made in 1969, so it's kind of a given. Talk about some of the other features. So these are stainless steel plates with USB plugs in them. Come to find out, these USB plugs are not very tolerant of surges. So pretty much every one of them in here that I put in are dead. So I've got to go out and get some other ones and probably throw some capacitors on them or some rectifiers on them to stop them from blowing. The gray plugs, there's a couple of gray plugs in here. They're all solar. All the windows were redone by hand. New screens, buffed. The cranks, all of the hardware was replaced on the metal bearings. Or not the bearings, but the plastic bearings. They all open and close pretty nicely. See my dirty garage over there from this project. The back window is very large, very big, very much a pain in the butt. And we move on to the kitchen area again. So this is the original stove. I need another knob for it, but I redid it. It was puke green as well. The sink is a nice stainless steel sink that came from Lowe's because, well, the sink that was in there was green, ugly, and it had a divider in the middle of it. So I ripped that out of there and put this one in here. If you notice, we have a nice little pure water filter here, so we can drink the water coming out of the tank without having that gross taste that the tanks have. A lot of people don't drink water out of their RVs, which is fine. I don't mind drinking water out of the RV as long as it's filtered. Nice little sprayer, came with the sink, whole $20, probably one of the cheapest things. This switch right here will eventually go to a light switch underneath for the cabinet. The bottom cabinet here actually has this really cool thing, and it's probably my favorite thing out of this whole trailer that came with it, is a towel rack, and it pops out. Throw your towels on there, slide them back in, and let them dry. That brings us to what used to be an icebox in there, is a new fridge. Put a fridge in there. It's a cheapo Harrier, but I did my research on it for the wattage. The wattage on this thing is like 60 watts. The total panels on the top of the roof of this trailer is 500. So running that thing isn't a problem. This isn't all the way done yet, but this is kind of me mixing in USB power and also a spice rack for the kitchen here. Wanted to be able to see the voltage in one place and be able to have some USBs over here along with a 12 volt socket. So if we ever get any 12 volt items like stoves or, little coffee makers, things like that, we can just plug them in there. They make a pretty cool griller that runs off 12 volts, so that'll be pretty cool. Low voltage is better in most scenarios because then I'm not converting up and losing tons of power. So I'm going to try and run what I can off of 12 volts as much as I can, or direct current DC. The switch here is solar since it's gray, so all the power comes out of there is solar. I have a USB fan that's connected to that. It's kind of nice. Just have it hanging there to push. Sarah put up our nice little Bennett thing. She actually made this on our honeymoon and stuck it there on the wall with one of those awesome sticky hooks. The back of this here has, we don't have the handle on it yet, but it has another one of those nice little deep storage places. This trailer is just full of storage. This brings us to the top storage racks. They're pretty unfun. There's not much to them. It's just a big empty pit area. And of course there's some wiring there, and then some wiring over here, and that'll all be hidden. This is all the cable and the power coming in from the roof there. So all that'll be hidden when I'm all done. There'll be a nice little rack that's put up across that whole window right there, and it will make it so that we can throw little stuff up on there, like a little shelf. Be kind of nice. The brings us kind of back down here. This is the original cushions that came with this thing. We actually took them off, washed them, washed all the foam and everything. So they're clean, which is good because it was really dirty. This is the original table. Because of the modifications, I actually have to make the table smaller. It won't fit in the grooves there for it to lay flat right now. So that's one of the other fun things I need to do. Then we come to, of course, another window. It's a double pane. And you can see one of them's broke there. So when we went to go put it in, we accidentally broke it. And so it's got to be replaced along with two others that are in this camper. But underneath this seat right here is all of the brains in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out of here. And you can see the difference between the lacquered, well not lacquered, but shellacked or polyurethane wood. It's a lot lighter when it's not polyurethane. So I made it so that these come off here into individual pieces so that we can get in here. And this is the entire power center right here. So this is what took probably the longest time to get together and get done in here. That back here is the charger, so if I ever have to plug it into 120 volts house or a generator out front, I can. There's a nice little fuse or breakable fuse right here that's 12 volts. All of the power comes in this section here. This specifically right here is for the lights for the camper on the external and all the power coming in from the truck. I got two battery banks. There's currently one. They are vented outside, so they're totally vented, so we don't have to worry about venting into the camper. And then back here we actually have a battery isolator right here that's not in use yet. I eventually will probably use that battery isolator between the truck and the batteries in here so that I don't have to worry about killing my truck battery when I charge it from the truck, which at this point I don't know if we'll ever do. Now we have, from there, we have two solar controllers. One of these is rated at 20 amps and the other one's at 30 amps. I'm nowhere near that with the amount of solar panels on here. The reason I have two is because I made a connection on the external side that you can't see for a windmill, a tiny or smaller windmill, like a 12-inch windmill on there. so you'll be able to get some power when it's kind of crappy outside and a little windy as well. The one I'm looking at is about 300 watts, and it actually will start up at about 5 miles per hour, so it'll push out about 60 watts at 5 miles per hour. Anything you get above that is going to just bring up the wattage to a max of 300. It's about 12-inch blades on it. I'll kind of briefly go over a couple of things in here. I do have a lot of breakable fuses in here, and they're actually, both of these controllers are off of the down, they go both go down into these breakable fuses, so that if anything ever does come up, they will break from that point. These controllers are really good about any kind of problems. I've never seen a controller as nice as these. If you look at this one pretty close, you can see the battery kind of bouncing around there a bit between 11.6, 11.7. I have pretty much, well, I have a lot of stuff on right now. The power will actually automatically shut off when it gets down below 11 volts in here. The battery that is in here right now is a deep cycle marine battery. It's about a $200 battery in here, and there'll be another one in here, so the voltage won't look as low when I get two in here. The other reason it's low is because it's been really stormy today, so the solar panels haven't been running, and I've been in here a good chunk of the day, pretty much since 5 today. I've been in here playing around and doing stuff. And that would be like 5 hours with everything on, playing around, powering stuff, charging my S6, and Sarah's phone as well is sitting up there charging right now. Got a couple of couple of fuses down here on this little panel. These are for little things, such as the relays and stuff like that go to it. If you notice, I have quite a few bars in here. I have a positive bar there. The positive bar actually goes to all the lights, so that one right here powers all the lights. That is every one of the lights that go into a relay it's powered by. There are a couple more in here that go to a couple more relays in here as well. The way it's worked out, I'm not going to go into detail, but pretty much majority of this one right here is a relays. This one right here goes to a couple of other components and stuff, but they are all fused off of this guy right here. This bar down right here is actually a bar for all of the light switches that are on the wall over here, and I'll show you that real quick. So on the wall right here we have this switches, and the plate I made didn't do very good. Stainless steel is not easy to work with, but turned out alright. I'm not going to complain. But that's what all these come to. All of them come to this, and then they spawn off into one of these relays up here. Each one of these relays, but one of them, is all set up right now to run all the lights in the trailer, so I can flip them on and off. So I'm not running all the load to the switches. The load's all actually right here, which makes things a lot safer. So the voltage on this DC, you get a lot of line loss, so relays are definitely the way to go as far as that goes. If you notice, there's tons of cords in here. Some of them go to switches that power specific things. Some of them go to, like this one right here, goes to the inverter. That's the inverter right here. This one's just a 1500 watt, and this is the power plug right here that goes actually just directly into the wall. The little power or phone cord right here goes up through the wall and goes to the switch right here, which is the inverter. Shut it on and off. Got a nice little blinky light. It tells you when it's on and then when it's off, and that's all custom made too, including the circuit on the back of it to turn it on and off. most of the switches that you buy for inverters are very, very expensive. So I have stuff laying around and figured I'd just make it. So this brings us to, last but not least in here, we have a USB port. That USB port plugs into this guy. This guy's made by Tronic, and these guys make probably the best relays I've seen. I've used a lot of different computerized relays in my life, including K055 USB relay boards. These ones actually work off of serial, so RS-232, and serial's very universal. So you can plug this into a Linux box, a Windows box, Mac, and get it working just off of it being serial. I haven't seen anything I can't run it off of yet, and you don't have to worry about drivers a whole lot in regards to it. This one's a little bit different because it's an 8-port relay, so it does require a specific driver. The other ones that are pretty much 4 and below, they just have single drivers for them. This controls all the lights in here, and I'm actually going to show you guys how awesome this is. So let's close this up. And I did break this down into 2 sections so that I could just get to it. There's a door right here, so I really don't even need to pull the thing off to take a look at it. One thing I may have forgot to mention is this one's set for the panel. This is how much voltage is coming into the panel, and it actually is very accurate. Same with this one. I like to set this one on the battery to show the voltage of the battery, and then this one on the panel so I can watch it. It tells you, a nice little float level. It has 4 different charge states on it: bulk, float, and 2 others in there, so that you don't kill your batteries. They also actually auto shut off your batteries if they get too low, so you don't damage them. So let's throw this back up here. And I do have my laptop plugged in too, so just to kind of tell you guys how much power I'm using right now. And it's, when it gets down to 11 mark, it takes quite some time to get down to right at 11. Now I'm running the monitor right here off of it as well. So here's one of the cool things, and I'll show you guys about this camper. I have it so that it's set up, and hopefully you guys can see this pretty decently. So I have it so it's set up so I can turn lights on and off by these buttons here. So I'm going to do this light zone 2, and that turned those ones off. And there's quite a few others, and I have, of course, 8 in there, so the other 8 are going to go in there. The cool part that I wanted to show you here is this. Darkness falls.
Scary.
Let there be light.
And so it is.
Marker lights.
K.
And that's the outside lights on the trailer. So all of them are on. And I can tell it again to shut them off. Marker lights.
K.
Darkness falls.
Scary.
There
are more than one carol that I know what one.
So there's some bugs in it, as you can hear. But let there be light.
And so it is.
Alright. So So you guys can kind of tell how cool it is. I also have an app I have for my phone, and a web page that you can browse to flip the lights on and off from your phone, which seems to work a lot better than most things. Yeah, so you guys get a nice little look. The mattress back here we replaced because it was spring, it was heavy, no reason for it to be back there, so we got foam, these old foam mattresses here. Well, they're not old, but they're same that they use in trucks, and we put two of them together, and Sarah's actually inside right now making the covers for them. This is going to be the material for the windows right here when it's all done. I got these today, and you guys can just kind of see how this progresses without having to come over here and take a look at it. But if you guys have any comments or anything, let me know. Anything you think would be cool in here, let me know too. That would be kind of nice. I bought one of these cheapo fly things because I leave this door open, and there just happens to be screws on the metal pieces for this door here. So I just screwed them down to the door, which works out pretty well, and I can go in and out without a problem. I'll show you guys what the lights look like outside real quick, and then we'll hop off of here because this video's going way too long, longer than it should be. So I'm just turning them on real quick. There we go. Show you guys the outside lights there. And just a little sneak preview of the side of the trailer here. Got some new tires on there, and here's one of the lights. And of course the marker lights here. I don't know why it does that, but it puts off this weird gaze. Anyway, let me know what you guys think.